Advancing Kingdom Lifestyle.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the GG Report. I'm your host, Godfrey Gichuki. I welcome you to join us for this another very exciting conversation today. And I believe that you have had a great week and you're looking forward to the weekend. But before we get to the party of the weekend, let's have a conversation. Joined today by a special guest on the set, my friend David, Captain David Matu. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right, so I will be getting to introduce you and then you'll get talking to us. So today, as you can see, those of you that are tuned in on TV, I'm sure you can see the subject of our discussion. Those of you that are on a social media platform, and that is Facebook page, Elevate TV Kenya, and YouTube, please remember to subscribe and then press the bell button to always be reminded whenever we go live. Again, share with your friends, spread the word around. Today we are talking about the whole idea of internet addiction and how to net guard your children. We'll be focusing on the aspect of guarding and protecting the children. But we're going to talk about the whole area of internet addiction. I believe that as very many people know that the internet, of course, is the networking infrastructure that connects devices together, and the World Wide Web actually is what results out of that. That is what helps you access information. And this was developed in the late 80s. By 1989, the internet became something popular. And so if you're born after the 90s, you are actually born in the era of the internet. And it's been many years, almost 40 years plus actually, that the internet has been around. So it's a big journey. And I think we all use the internet with abandon. We don't even think about it. And I think what has happened is that a lot of people don't realize that the more you use the internet, like every other thing, you can get actually addicted. And today we want to look at that whole business of addiction, but we're going to be focusing more on the area of addiction in respect to children. So my guest is very passionate about this, and I'll be introducing him, and then we get the conversation underway. All right, so remember, the GG Report is a platform for big, bold and honest conversation, like I always say, social, cultural, economic, political, and theological and philosophical, if you wish. And today we are looking at this social, cultural issue. Technology, of course, is involved, and we'll see how it affects our lives. So let me introduce our guest to us briefly. Captain David Matu is a commercial pilot and an entrepreneur and a father of three. Born and raised up in Nairobi, Captain Matu battled drug addiction for some years, but got free after he found salvation. He found the Lord. He actually got himself out of that hook. Captain Matu is a tech coach, working with an internet app that guards your children, devices from accessing untrusted websites, pornography, spammers, gaming, betting, and other internet-based intruders. So I'm sure you want to hear how you can leverage this new technology to protect your children. And I believe, Captain Matu, you're going to tell us everything we need to know about how to protect our children and protect ourselves, and also deal with the issue of addiction. So let's start from you telling us about your career, first of all, very briefly, and how you got to where you are today. I think that will be very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for having me.
Right.
As you correctly stated, so I'm a pilot. That was a dream since I was a child.
All right.
So when I finished high school, I went to the university, did a little bit of information technology, and after that I went to South Africa.
Okay.
Where I finished my pilot's license, came to Kenya, converted it to a Kenyan license, and got into business.
Okay.
So I've always been passionate about business, about
Right.
solving real life problems that are affecting the world that is there today.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. And I've known you, you know, as a businessman and of course as a father. Tell us about your family, maybe briefly.
Yes.
What about your children? How many children do you have? Or rather, what are the ages? I think we've said there are 3, so maybe you can tell us, you know, the ages.
So God has blessed me with 3 beautiful children.
Right.
With 1 wife.
Yes.
So my children, the firstborn is turning 17
Okay.
this year.
Yes.
The secondborn is turning 13.
Okay.
And very small lastborn who is 1.5.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have 2 teenagers.
Yes, 2 teenagers.
And a little toddler. That's an amazing journey.
Yeah.
All right. So Captain Matu, actually one of the reasons that I really felt that I wanted you to come on this show is because there are a lot of people that are really freaking out, worried that their children are, you know, getting hooked into this whole wave of the internet. Of course, with the ease of access of devices, the average household has more than maybe 3 or 4 internet connected devices. And so really, internet is available, is accessible. A lot of children have access to it, and there's always this danger of children getting into the wrong places. But before we get there, let's talk about your battle with addiction. I mentioned it. Maybe you can just tell you know, our viewers that you've been there and seen that, right? In summary, what was your experience like?
So a very condensed, shortened version
is
I battled a lot with drug addiction.
Okay.
And just coming to terms and coming to understand where it all started from. It actually originated from addiction to pornography.
Okay.
So that was the original addiction.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know this, but addictions normally come 3 or 4 of them. So no one ever has just one addiction.
Oh, okay.
So one addiction leads to the other.
Okay.
So I was introduced to inappropriate content, that's pornography, at about 12 years old.
Okay.
In my neighbor's house, and they had those movies. I think it was belonged to their father or something, and we watched them, and that started a deep path into sexual addiction, masturbation, which eventually led to drug addiction and sexual addiction.
All right.
So the genesis of all of those things was the internet and the sexual addiction. Okay. Fast forward to today, God remembered me.
All right.
So he saved me and he removed me from all of those things. It's not something I would wish on my worst enemy.
All right.
Yes, it's not a journey I would wish for them to pass through.
Oh man, I'm telling you. And you know, I think most importantly, you pointed out that addictions come in sets. So it's not one addiction.
No.
It's one loaded onto another and several at the same time. So you are battling all kinds of demons around your life, and that's very, very serious. Okay. So thank God that you found the Lord and you found your way out of darkness, a very, very dark corner, and we thank God for that. So let's then talk about internet addiction specifically.
Yes.
So maybe you could describe to us, how do you tell you are becoming internet addicted? We'll not even talk about which sites are addicting you, but we almost can guess.
Yes.
But anyway, how do you tell you really actually in a very dark place?
Yeah. I think maybe we can start with what a definition of addiction is.
Right.
Just across all the different elements, be it food, drugs, or alcohol, or internet, is the repeated use of something despite negative consequences.
Okay.
That's the very basic understanding of what an addiction is.
Okay.
So for it to be an internet addiction, it is someone who continues to use the internet despite negative consequences.
Okay.
So this person could be failing in their exams. This person could be ignoring their family relationships, ignoring other sports and hobbies that they are doing, and generally isolating themselves, and other list of things. But the main thing is the negative consequences, and they still continue to use them. No matter how much you talk to them, no matter how hard you try, they're still going to try to use it.
Okay.
So that's internet addiction.
All right, and that's really very worrying, because you're saying it is something repeated without, consideration of the negative impact,
Yes.
it has on your life.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe you're on the phone constantly. I mean, I see people on the streets these days, just like zombies, just walking on their phone.
Not watching the road.
And not watching the road. And so it's quite a menace, and it's quite a... Would you think that, so as an addiction, do you think internet itself is an addiction compared to drug addiction, for example? Which is more like gripping? Is it the drug, or once you fall into some addiction, you're just done?
So addictions basically have three ways that they end.
Yeah.
So you either go to jail, you either die, or you become mad.
Okay.
Those are the only outcomes of addiction.
Okay.
So there's no other way out of them. And it doesn't matter whether it's food addiction, alcohol addiction. And so it's a personal way that your mind has been affected.
Okay.
That you cannot get out of that situation. So your self-control is affected completely.
All right.
And you're not going to be able to get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except that there is always hope.
Yes.
There is always hope. There is actually always hope, ladies and gentlemen.
That is true.
As you follow this conversation, we are talking about addiction, and specifically internet addiction. And internet addiction, like Captain Matu is saying, is as difficult and as bad as any other addiction, because the pathway is death or jail or madness. I mean, you're completely helpless. And I guess maybe, Captain Matu, you could say, because internet addiction, of course, requires that you have some money, some bundles and all that.
Yes.
Then obviously that drags other things into a mix, because now you have to have bundles.
Yes.
So you're constantly on Fuliza. If you run out of money, the system, the current system we use, especially the mobile technologies, allow you to borrow.
Even stealing to get money, to buy data, and to stay online.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, including hacking internet,
Yes.
or even going and hanging around places
Yes.
where there is free internet, and you just completely just locked up in those places. That's very, very interesting. So if you have a question for my guest, Captain Matu, here, please ask. And we'll be answering questions at the end of this program. Towards the end, we'll be dealing with some of your concerns. And if you actually know someone who is internet addicted, or your children, we're going to be talking about the children shortly. If you know someone that is addicted, in any one of these dimensions, whether it's internet, whether it's sexual addiction, pornography, or any other kind of addiction, drug addiction, please maybe tell them that they can find an answer. And Captain Matu here, David Matu, has been through hell and come out of it. So there is hope for you. So don't give up. But please write your question. Tell us where you're watching from, and let's know if you have any questions you have. We'll be able to deal with them. We'll be looking at your comments as we go along. So, Captain Matu.
Yes.
Let's talk about the whole issue of children and addiction.
Yes.
how do you tell that your children are sliding into addiction to phones? We will also maybe along with that question is the whole issue of at what age? You know, this is a question I'm sure a lot of parents are watching. At what age do you allow your children to start now using devices, constantly on the devices and stuff like that?
Yes.
You know, you please tell us the issue of the age, and then how do you then tell my child is actually in an addiction?
Yeah.
Okay.
About screen time and age, so the experts have researched.
Okay.
They've analyzed that 0 to 2 years old, your child should have 0 hours of screen time.
Okay.
No screen time at all. Let them go outside, let them play, let them find the ways their body can move, let them interact with the environment. So no screen time completely.
Okay.
Yes. Between 2 and 5,
yeah,
it's a maximum of 1 hour a day.
Okay.
Of screen time. This is all screen time. So this is TV, whether he's watching something or it's just 1 hour, and that's maximum.
Okay.
They recommend the age when you can introduce phones to be 10 to 14.
Okay.
This is different for every parent.
Okay.
An example is how your child learns. Some schools are very gadget friendly.
Okay.
So they require that your child has a gadget and their homework is sent there and such things.
Okay.
So that could vary with that, but recommended age is between 10 to 14. Then later on you can keep it, the better for you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and I think that's very you know, interesting. That's very pertinent kind of data. I know parents, some of them are watching us right now. Some of you parents, I know you, and I know how your children, as we talk right now, are holding the gadgets. You know, they have your phone and you're watching TV. So as you can tell, we are not friends here.
Yeah.
So Captain Matu, that's very, very important. So you can imagine actually there are some parents or even families that actually let their children watch TV the whole day.
Yeah.
They watch them play with the phones, you know, their whole day. So I think a lot of parents really are throwing too much exposure in terms of screen time to their children. What do you have to say about that?
I agree with you. And having a small toddler, I can understand the challenges. You know, it's easy to put for them something to watch, and they basically become quiet.
Right.
They give you peace of mind. You're able to do the things you want. So it's a shortcut. But it's a very costly shortcut.
Okay.
They were doing research on children who are born with gadgets.
Right.
Who are born and they know already what to swipe before they can talk.
Yeah.
And their brains are changing permanently in a way that even if it's 10 years down the line, you can't go back. This change is permanent. How their attention spans are being affected. We've heard of children who are above 3 years old who can't talk.
Okay.
Because of using gadgets and screen time.
All right.
Yeah. They don't know how to be social.
Yes. Yeah. You see, because children have to learn very, very important skills, especially between the ages of 2 and 4. Yes. Social skills.
Yeah.
They have to learn how to play with other kids, how to be nice to the others, to let the other kid play, exchange, you know, mutual, say gifts or something like that. You know, you play with the ball. After you're done, I play with the ball. You know, that kind of thing. They should be able to begin to cultivate their social skills between the ages of 2 to 4.
Yeah.
And if they miss that, perhaps that's a very difficult thing, and gadgets can actually get into the way. All right, so Captain Matu, so we have these parents who really have already exposed their children to these devices, and they are not too sure whether their children are addicted or not. How do they tell that their children are addicted?
So one of the biggest thing is negative consequences. So your child will want to continue using it despite negative consequences.
Yeah.
So if your child is a bit bigger, let's say they're in school, you'll notice their homework, they're not doing their homework, they're failing their tests. Isolation, some even change weight, some add on weight because now they're not more physically active. Some lose weight because that's the only thing that they're interested in doing. Yeah, so that's the very sure sign that there's a problem.
All right.
Yes.
And that presents a very big challenge. So if your child is, constantly lagging behind in their work, they don't complete their homework, they don't complete their assignment, they can't concentrate and all that, and maybe they are also beginning to gain weight, they are constantly, in one place, isolated. That's a huge challenge.
Yeah. I think
yes.
as well, together with irritability, a child who has an addiction is not able to be emotionally stable. So they are either very happy or very low.
Okay.
And mostly it's in terms of gadgets.
Okay.
So immediately you take the phone away, you'll see the reaction that he has. To him, it means more than life. So you'll see it. He's going to become very angry.
Very, very angry. I mean, sorry. Captain Matu,
Yes.
one of the things I've noticed is that if you want to tell you have a problem with a gadget, is if you happen to lose your phone.
Yes.
The emotional upheaval.
That's very correct.
That's the surest way, the surest test. If you lose your phone, the drama that is going to ensue, and it's like somebody being disconnected, from oxygen.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a very vital element of yours. You feel that has been taken away.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. It's amazing that this addiction is such a huge problem. So now I want us to begin to talk about the solutions that are available, and then what can be done.
Yeah.
Over time, I think we've seen a growth of applications, what they call apps in short.
Yes.
They are called applications on the phones. Every device has a set of application. Right now we are using an application, to follow this conversation, and even to look at like the notes and stuff like that. So what solutions are available, maybe in brief, before we come to the very details of how we can, parents can actually access some help.
Okay. Maybe I was thinking before we can discuss the solutions, we can discuss the problems that people face online.
Okay.
Then when we talk about the problems, we can connect them to a problem that is there and what is the solution.
Okay.
An example of a problem would be, and I'll start with the least dangerous to the most dangerous.
Okay.
It would be cyberbullying.
Okay.
So cyberbullying is basically bullying through the internet.
Okay.
So someone can take your photo, post it to embarrass you, edit your photo, say mean things, and just the normal way in cyberbullying.
Okay.
This has actually led to a lot of drastic cases, including suicide in countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the first threat that we have. The second threat that we have is the phone addiction, as you stated. So this leads to depression, suicide, the same problems, just that we have seen. Third, and a bit dangerous risk, is exposure to inappropriate content.
Okay.
By inappropriate content, we're talking about sexual content, gambling, alcohol and drugs, and violence.
Okay.
And according to statistics, that 82% of children are exposed to inappropriate content by the age of 11.
Okay.
And 58% are exposed to pornography accidentally. Now, those are shocking statistics of what's happening online. The last threat that maybe we can discuss is predators.
Yes.
There are a lot of weird people out there who are looking to prey on little children. So the FBI estimates that there are around 500,000 active predators every single day online.
Okay.
And
500,000
yes,
active predators
looking for children.
Okay.
That's their main intention. They are in video games, they're in chat rooms, they're in Facebook, they're in all sorts of places.
Okay.
And most statistics say that 1 in 5 of children get sexual solicitation from online. Worse than that, only 25% of those who are solicited ever tell their parents.
Okay.
So these are real threats that are there. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a very huge number of children, where they connect with someone who then starts soliciting for sex, you know, suggesting and telling them how they're going to enjoy this. This is something nice. So, I mean, and this is a person they are corresponding with, and you know, and then the worst thing is that they don't tell their parents.
Yes.
That itself is a real warning sign. Yes. So those of you that are following this conversation, our viewers, there is a lot of danger out there. So is there something else, you know, that is also equally dangerous?
Those are less dangerous.
I think especially the debate about you know, solicitation of you know, sex being solicited online. Yes. That itself is actually very, very serious.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It has ended up in children being abducted and being raped and murdered. Okay. And you'd find most children, they think they're in a relationship with another child. This could be a 47-year-old person who is online. Okay. And your 13-year-old, 12-year-old child will not know the difference. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, you know, if you're someone is actually masquerading as a 13-year-old, so they have put the face of a 13-year-old, so they suggest to, you know, another 13-year-old, real 13-year-old, let's meet at the shopping center. I'm gonna buy ice cream. My dad has, you know, given me, or my mom has given me some money. So how about a quick, you know, ice cream treat, and then you can run back home, right? Yes. So they shoot out, and before you know it, that's the last time you see your child. Yes. Wow, amazing, amazing. So. Ladies and gentlemen, as you follow this conversation, you believe you're learning that there is a lot of danger out there. I mean, I don't want to sound like the man who, you know, out there in the wild, there are lions and all kinds of predators. That is true. Although not everyone is a danger, but yes. You need to know that there are people out there who use the internet system, and they could take advantage of your child, of your children, and so you need to be very, very wary and very, very careful. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for those of you that are following this conversation, and please share with your friends and invite them to join. And if you have any questions, please ask any question. And I can see there's someone here, Priscilla Jerry. She's loving the conversation, following from Germany. That's amazing, amazing. And then, of course, some gentleman here called Weber Wanyonyi is also following the conversation. This is amazing. So, David, I think this challenge of internet predators is a very, very huge problem. Do you know of parents that have reported to you? I mean, I'm sure, given your research and your involvement in this area, and you're going to be telling us some of the what you're doing, do you know, do you have examples of parents that have approached you and you know, told you of their misery and trouble like that?
Just a personal example that I can quickly name off my head. Yeah. During the Corona period, I was doing car hire. Yeah. So I'd posted my cars online and waiting for customers. Right. So a boy calls me, I think sounds 8 or 9. Right. So he calls me, he tells me, I want to book your car for car hire. So I ask him, where do you want to go to? I ask him, what's your age? He tells me, you don't worry about my age. Yeah. I just want you to take me out. How much is it per day? And he pays me. Right. And I can sense that this is a very young boy. Yes. So I decide not to let on to him. So he also sends me a bit of more money. He pays for the car and a bit extra money. So he tells me, when you're coming, withdraw the money and bring for me the cash. All right. So I tell him, okay. And he tells me, don't call me back. So I'm the one who's going to call you. You don't call me anymore. Yes. And we interacted on one of these platforms that enable online businesses. Yes. And so when it reached the night, when I was sure the mother was home, I called the number back. Yeah. So a lady picked up. I explained to her the whole story. I told her, your son has paid me for a car hire trip.
Yeah, my director is telling me we got to take a short break. I think we'll come back to that story because that's a very, very sweet story. I want to hear more of that.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we return to that conversation of some adventures of young kids, using the technology and the internet facility. This is an amazing conversation you don't want to miss. So we take a short break. We're coming back here. Don't go away.
Explore a world of knowledge at Elevation Bookshop. Dive into topics like marriage, money, and spiritual growth with our vast reading materials. But that's not all. We are thrilled to introduce new additions like stationeries, notebooks, modeling clay, dictionaries, pencils, kamusi, and more. And calling all students, gear up for success with our back-to-school items, providing you with everything you need to excel in every subject. At Elevation Bookshop, we're here to assist you in finding the perfect resources for your journey. Do you have specific preferences or looking for something special? Visit us at Kenya Cinema Plaza, mezzanine floor, or contact us on 0748 902 225. Elevation Bookshop. Enrich your life. Equip.
All these crises in the nation is because of breakdown of the family. Many people, when you hear the word prophet, the first thing that comes to your mind is false prophet.
A show that strives to teach and equip the body of Christ for the work of the ministry by giving foundational matters that are critical in the body of Christ.
If you met one terror man, bad man, does it mean all men are bad? Can women be apostles? Yes, because being an apostle or a pastor or an evangelist or a prophet is not a male position, it's a position in the spirit.
Welcome to an equipping moment every Monday and Wednesday from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Elevate TV.
Welcome back. This is the Gigi Report, and we are having a conversation about internet addictions, how you can protect your child from the net, how you can guard your children from the troubles of the net. That's what we're talking about. Before we went to the break, we were having a conversation about the very dangers, the various kind of dangers of addiction, what addiction truly is, anything that makes you completely dependent, and if it's taken away, it leads to all kinds of problems, prison, death, or
Madness.
or madness. So those are the three major outcomes of addiction. So, and that's a very dangerous thing. And there are many signs that can tell you that you are under the grip of addiction. Mood swings, isolation, anxiety, suicidal ideas, and all kinds of psychological impact, especially if it is when something is taken away from you, the internet is taken away from you, become moody, and many things like that. So we've actually shared that. And my guest here, Captain David Matu, is a commercial pilot and an entrepreneur. He's He's actually a tech coach, and he understands these things. And he's, of course, a father of 3 children. 2 of them are teenagers. So he knows actually the rules of addiction. My guest also has battled addiction and come through on the other side. So if you have a challenge with addiction, please send us your question or comment, or if you know someone who is struggling and they don't know how to get out of their trouble, our guest here is ready to answer those kind of questions. So let's go back to the conversation. So Captain Matu, you're giving us a story about this young man, this boy. You could tell actually he's a boy. He sends you money because you are running a car hire, and so he pays for the vehicle. He also sends you some extra money, and he asks if you can withdraw the cash. Don't call me until I call you.
Yes.
Right. Those were the instructions for the young man, but you broke the promise.
Yes.
All right.
So I called at around 9 p.m.
Okay.
And I was sure that a parent or a guardian would be home.
Okay.
So the mother picked up the phone.
Right.
So I explained to her the whole story. Told her I've received this money and these were my instructions.
Right.
So I hear her shouting to her son in the background.
Yes.
So she hangs up the phone. They get into an argument, I think. Then she calls me back.
Right.
She tells me that he had stolen the phone, and all of that I should disregard.
Right.
So he had sent me money and deleted the evidence. So there was no even evidence of what he had done.
Yes.
So she asked me kindly, can you refund me the money? And such situations I could only imagine. What if I was a bad person?
It would have been terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your child can disappear without any trace. You can't tell where he went. He left the house, can't be seen.
Right.
Yeah.
And he deleted the message.
Yes.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So when we talk about addiction can actually lead, like you said at the beginning, addiction, the outcomes are almost certain. Either you're dead or imprisoned, or you lose your mind.
Yes.
And that's a very serious outcome. All right, so let's talk about the solutions. All right, let's talk about the solutions, some of the technology solutions that are available right now, because I'm sure a lot of parents who are watching this program, that's their biggest issue. What do I do about this?
So there are a lot of apps that have been created that deal with this very same thing. Now, these apps, some of them vary in their complexities and the level of safety they provide.
Okay.
So the best thing when someone is looking for, what you'd like to look for is use of AI technology.
Okay.
So older technology used to block certain websites, but new websites are being created every single day, thousands and thousands. So what AI technology does is it tells in real time what your son is typing.
Okay.
It scans a web page and is able to tell there are certain keywords here, including sex, including pornography, including drugs, and ban those websites and let you, the parent, know what is happening.
Okay.
So the first one is the use of AI.
Okay.
And a way to set limits.
Okay.
So you need to discuss with your child what's the time that is maximum should be recommended. According to experts, they say you should not pass 3 hours per day.
Okay.
Maximum on screen time. But this varies with every parent. Some use it to do homework, but generally no more than 3 hours.
Okay.
And so you need something that can be able to set time limits and even when it's time for bed. So an application that can tell, it's 9 p.m. and restrict access to the phone completely.
Okay.
Another thing that you would like is to be able to block certain kind of apps.
Okay.
Certain kind of apps are not meant for children at all. We're talking about apps like Telegram.
Okay.
These are apps where it's very easy for anyone to search online, see your child and add them.
Okay.
So, and even some of these companies, they tell you, these apps are not designed for children.
Okay.
So don't make sure your child does not have them. Don't try to download them and keep your child safe there. So there are some applications that you should just do away with.
Okay.
An example is TikTok. TikTok has an age limit.
Okay.
So it tells you below 12, your child should not be here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And you know that I think that is something we need to actually tell our viewers or let our viewers know that TikTok, which is one of the most popular, with the young people as an app.
Yes.
it's already clearly marked out. It's like
Yes.
the way movies are rated.
Yes.
It's actually rated age 12.
Yes, and 12 is a basic introduction, and they really limit what your child sees.
Okay.
So ideally, they recommend 16.
Okay.
But below 12, you should not be there at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. All right. So you need an app or a technology
Yes.
that limits which app. So you need to deal with some of the apps that you're actually taking us through some of the apps.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So you need to be able to limit which app your child can download.
Okay.
And they should actually ask for your permission. So either you can allow or disallow them to download those apps.
Okay.
So don't just let them have any application. Some of them are meant for adults. And in their young minds, they are not going to be able to deal with those apps.
Okay.
Another one is you would need an application that monitors YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is a wonderful application. It has so many things. My daughter is learning how to draw, and there's so many other good things that you can learn. It's making people money, but it has a lot of strange and bad content. So
Okay.
you need an application that is going to monitor YouTube.
Okay.
If you don't monitor YouTube, you're in very serious trouble.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You need to check call and SMSs.
Okay.
So you need to find out who is calling your child. Can you have visibility to see at yesterday 3 p.m. who called, who
Okay.
sent a message, and even read the message.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not invasion of privacy.
Mm-hmm.
This is your child. You need to be able to account to who is talking to them. And
Yeah.
you need to be able to block certain numbers
Mhm.
and even report them.
Okay.
Yeah. The last one is two more. One that can help you with your child's location
Mm-hmm.
is a very big bonus,
Okay.
where you can just tap and see, oh, my child is actually here.
Mm-hmm.
It really helps a lot.
All right.
And the last thing is an app that gives you reports.
Okay.
So either weekly or monthly, they tell you these are your reports, these are your child's habits, these are the danger areas, these are the websites he's trying to, you need to address these certain behaviors that we can sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing, and I'm so happy that you've given us, like the structure. What minimum requirement or some of the areas. So let's talk about now the apps or the specific app. I think of the set you told me you're actually working as an expert and a trainer.
Yes.
And a coach, actually working with some specific apps. So maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah.
And because I want us to start engaging with our viewers, and because some of them perhaps are actually right now looking for a solution. So maybe they are, and maybe even they need training, they need coaching, they need somebody they can reach out to. So what exactly are you providing right now in the market, and what are you actually recommending?
Okay. So I formed a company called Net Guardian.
Okay.
So at Net Guardian, it's formed between me and my wife. We basically try to help you with all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So we've tried all the bad solutions. We've tried all the different applications that are there.
Mm-hmm.
We know what works and we know what doesn't work.
Okay.
So we're able to sit with you to advise. We know how long your child should use on their gadgets.
Right.
And different gadgets. We even know which gadget to buy and which gadget not to buy.
Okay.
An example is Android is very preferable to iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
iPhone does not let you read your child's messages or their calls. And Android, on the other hand, will let you see them.
Okay.
So that's a small difference, but it can mean everything
Okay.
in terms of securing your child.
Mm-hmm.
And so we partnered with an app. It's on the Play Store. It's called Q Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we help parents. We help you set it up. We help you check that it's running smoothly. We provide you with reports. We fix any problems that may arise. And we continuously advise you.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. So there is a solution, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you that are following this conversation and those that are going to be watching later, there is actually a solution that you can find that can actually help with your child. And there is an app that is actually, you've tested the app, you have actually used it, and you can actually vouch for his utility. Wonderful. What else do you actually provide? So you help parents, like take a typical case of someone who approaches you, a parent who approaches you, what sort of solution do you provide? I mean, how do you go about it?
So first, we would receive a call, and we'd come to where you are.
Okay.
So basically, we come to where we are. We understand parents are busy, so we come to where you are. We discuss your individual child's needs.
Okay.
Because no child is the same.
Okay.
No requirement of gadgets are the same. For some, they need them. You just want them to use it for learning. For some, you want them to be able to socialize a little bit, but still be safe. And so we talk with you individually, and we find out what are the requirements of the gadget that you've gotten for your child.
Right.
We also see the specifications of the gadget. So different gadgets have different performance.
Okay.
And some are not able to run that app. So we also advise you. So it might not be a one app fits all that you will be able to use. So we'd sit down with you, create a custom tailor solution for you.
Okay.
And be able to agree, these are the rules, this is the time I want my child to be online, this is the time I want them to be asleep, I don't want these apps, what do you think about these apps? So we advise you, and then we implement all those rules on your child's device.
Okay.
Then we continuously monitor.
Okay.
So in case you tell us, okay, I was saying his bedtime should be 9, maybe I change it to 9:30.
Okay.
So we are able to change that remotely for you.
Okay.
So there's a lot of continuous device rules that we keep on setting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm going to, hold you there because we want to go to another short break, very short break. Then after we come back, we'll look at the, the comments and any questions that are getting. Here I can see there are a number of comments that are on the social media platforms. So we'll be getting to view that. So let's take a short break, and then we'll be coming back to this conversation shortly to sum up and to summarize what we have learned so far. All right.
Reformation is here with us, and we have a man that has been teaching on reformation. Listen, things must be aligned within the body of Christ.
Go back and look at how you have laid the foundation of your ministry. Go back and look at your practices. Go back and look at your preaching, and make sure that they align, that everything aligns with the scripture.
Whatever is deformed must be reformed.
A reformer, they want to put things back into its original form.
God's servant Apostle James Trendwell, all the way from United States of America.
All right, welcome back. This is the Gigi Report. We are talking about internet addiction, how to net guard your children from, internet. I mean, how to protect your children. And we've shared very many ideas so far. We talked about some of the dangers of addiction. Of course, we said there are 3 outcomes. You either end up in prison, you end up dead, or you end up losing your mind. So that's not something you want to get into. We talked earlier about some of the signs of addiction: anxiety, fear, confusion, suicidal ideas, and I mean all kinds of reaction, and then you can tell. And some of you are familiar with some of the feeling you had last time you lost your phone or your internet was not working, how desperate you got when you didn't have internet. So you know the feeling. So please, if you are addicted, that's not a very good thing. So you need to find a way out. And Captain Matu, before we went to the break, you were sharing with us amazing solutions, and especially this particular app that you work with. You and your wife, you have formed a company, and you have you're offering solutions to parents and people out there. So I think we're going to be telling them more about that. So if when somebody reaches out to you, you actually, you kind of take them step by step.
Yes.
You do the analysis. You find out what are the ages of their children,
Yeah.
and you do that. You insist on going to their homes, or they come to you, or do you meet them in a neutral place?
I go to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're willing to go out to them.
Yes.
And share with them, and then also find out the details, and then work out a specific solution for their children.
Yes.
Wonderful. That is amazing. And so I think I want just to pick up some of the comments that have been flowing here, because I really don't want to lose them. Eunice Godo here, Heko, very informative. This is on the YouTube. Edward Gitonga is saying, I wish that the world can be one class with you guys, being teachers, and the whole unit stroke semester being that topic. If a generation can be healed from this, I think Jesus will be here as we talk. Karen Kibuchi is saying, going for info, especially for parents. Amara Maria is watching. Gitonga again saying, ongeza madam for more stuff. So I think next time I should ask your wife to come along so that we can follow this conversation. Rachel Wanjiru is watching, and happy that a conversation of all for all of us to hear. What about parents that are addicted asking for a friend? This is where the problem is, my brother David.
Yes.
There are parents that are watching, and they themselves are addicted. They have already discovered that. Yes. So ongeza muda wa more stuff. That's what they are saying. Rahab Dabuke is saying, great conversation with our son Matu and Pastor Gigi. That is very good. Mase Wairimo is saying, very informative conversation. That's good. Thank you so much, all of you that are watching. I think maybe you can mention what Ruth Wanjiru is actually raising, Rachel rather, parents that are also addicted.
Yes.
I mean, so here you are. They have called you for their son or daughter, but actually you discovered they are more addicted than
Yeah.
Do you also put time limit on them and start monitoring them?
It's possible.
Yeah.
So we also we call it an accountability partner.
Okay.
So if you would like us to provide that service, we can also set up your gadget as well.
Okay.
So we can discuss with you what times are you willing to spend on your gadget, how can we help you, what time should we shut you off, and we are just a phone call away. If you need us to change something and the way it works, we can change it for you.
All right.
And so this can help. We can put passwords to block you out after a certain time is reached, and maybe you spending the whole day on Facebook, not working. So we can agree. So you won't spend maybe 1 hour, 2 hours on Facebook, and just the knowledge of someone is there with you.
Okay.
It helps a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if a corporation asks you to monitor its employees, what happens?
We would not do that. Even for us to monitor a child, you need to sign a document. So we also don't want cases where someone is monitoring, tracking people, maybe committing murder.
Okay.
So it's a rigorous process. We have to protect the data. We have to make sure that you're the parent. You sign somewhere that this information is only used to help them online.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, so you have to get consent from the parents and the cooperation of the individual. If, say, for example, somebody actually clearly is saying, look, I need help, David.
Yes.
Please, I'm going to give you the full right to monitor me and control me.
Yeah.
Once I recover, then...
Even for those stuck with pornography, you can install it and you won't be able to watch pornography on your device.
Okay.
So it can help you a lot.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, so if you know somebody that is in trouble, please reach out to David. He's available, he's reachable, very much reachable, and he's ready to help. And so don't die alone, don't die with your problems. And I believe that you will find some help. So on the other side of the, Facebook, I see Princess Julie following and getting enlightened. And then Priska Jerry, I think we said this is an amazing conversation. We had read that. And Wanjiro Madenge Mutinda loving the conversation, address also the parents. I think that's the same thing. So we have addressed that. So David, because we really want to make sure that people are able to know, how do people get in touch with you? And do you have a website? Do you have, how do people reach you? Or do they have to come to your office? I'm sure you want to share a lot of that information.
Yes.
I think you can begin to tell us what, in which ways you can be reached.
So you can reach us on social media. We are on Facebook right now.
All right.
We call ourselves Net Guardian. And apart from that, it's just giving me a call. Giving me a call, sending me a WhatsApp message on 0702 125 440.
Oh yeah, that's a number 0722, yeah?
0702
Or 0702
125
125
440.
440.
Yes.
That's the number. So if you're, someone that needs help, that needs, to reach out to Captain David, that is the number 0702
125 440.
440. That's the number, and you will find some help. And you can also go to Internet Guardian. You say it?
Net Guardian.
Net Guardian.
Yes,
so
on
if you search on Facebook, you'll find Net Guardian. That's a very good Facebook page to follow. And you can also spread it to your friends. Let them reach out to David and the organization, and they can find some help. So, David, I believe that there are many lessons you have learned. Working with people that are addicted. What are some of the success stories you have as we wrap this up?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what inspired me to create this whole thing was basically my children.
Okay.
So when I started it was during Corona, and there were no schools, and everyone was at home. So school said, you know what, they need to continue learning. So we are going to give them online classes.
Okay.
So they had to get a gadget.
Okay.
So it wasn't now just when, it was now they have to get a gadget. So how do you safeguard them? How do you make sure that they can learn and they can be safe? So through a lot of trial and error, I've seen them evolving.
Okay.
My daughter right now is learning Mandarin.
Okay.
On the app.
Okay.
So she doesn't have a teacher, she goes to an app, it helps her with lessons. My son is learning Spanish. So I've seen a lot of benefits that it can have.
Okay.
But only if used correctly.
Okay.
I've also seen there was a period that they really spent a lot of time. And their grades were really affected.
Okay.
So that's when I saw that this is a dangerous thing. That it can be used for good, but it has to be monitored and continuously. And the challenge with children is they are really tech savvy. They are more tech savvy than us.
All right.
So you try to install something, they try to delete it.
Right.
So you really have to keep re-engaging, explaining to them, having a sit down on the benefits and the dangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so you have a wonderful success story with your own children, which is amazing. And perhaps, and I'm sure there are other people that have probably also, supposing somebody is looking for on the internet, do you think that somebody on their own can sort themselves out? What's missing in the conversation?
Yeah.
If somebody goes to the internet and install whatever kind of solution it is out there?
It's really possible.
Yeah.
It's really possible. The only challenge is it will take you a long time. And I have a background in IT. And it took me 2.5 years before I could find a reliable solution
Okay.
that works. So I would try something and my son would circumvent it.
Okay.
So I'd find him in the phone at night, he's playing games.
Okay.
And so I had to keep retesting. So you really require maybe to know what you're doing.
Okay.
And the challenge with the internet is it has a lot of information. Some of it is not really helpful. So before you sieve all of it, it's possible you can find a solution. It just takes a lot of time and intentional effort.
Okay, and I think I'm very happy with that because you have a solution, and you work through this. You've given us your numbers, how we can you can be reached, and so if you're a parent out there, you want to protect your children, you have young learners, they have to use the gadgets. Please reach out to Captain David Matu. He's on the other end of the phone. Net Guardian is a social media platform, Facebook page. And his number he's given us. I want you to look at that camera, and I want you to give 30 seconds parting shot to our viewers, and that will be lovely. Just okay.
So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the conversation that we've been able to have, and we really appreciate you. Thank you for staying tuned. Just maybe a few parting tips on your child and engaging them in posting social media. Just number one, tell them to be kind. So we're trying to prevent cyber bullies and people who are bullying other children. It really affects them in the long run. Number two is just tell them, think twice before pressing enter. So before they decide to write their location and where they are, ask them, think twice. How does this affect you? And the third tip would be WWGS. So what would grandma say? So before you post something, just ask yourself, if grandma saw exactly what you've written, what would she think of it? And that will really remove a lot of the bad things that you would post. And remember to stay private. Don't keep your profiles public. Secure yourself. And the last one is basically just common sense. Like in the real world, don't befriend strangers.
Okay. Wonderful. That's amazing. That's a very amazing summary of this conversation. Thanks so much, David, Captain David Matu, for your amazing, insight and the things you've brought to this conversation. We truly appreciate you. We want to remind you that the Gigi Report is every Friday evening from 8 to 9. We are live on TV, social media platform, Facebook page, that is Elevate TV Kenya, Facebook and YouTube channels. Remember to subscribe. Remember to press the notification bell so that every time we go live, you are able to follow this conversation. If you are watching from the diaspora, please send us a message. Let's know where you're following from, and keep following Elevate TV. We have many other programs lined up every Friday, every evening from 8 o'clock. There's a live program and many others. So please stay tuned and follow Elevate TV. We are actually on free to air. Make this your default channel, and may the Lord bless you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following this conversation. And I'm very excited. I've been your host, Godfrey Gichuki. The Gigi Report is a platform for everyone, and we take matters seriously, and may the Lord bless you. We look forward to seeing you again, same time, same channel. God bless you, and have a good night or good day wherever you're watching from. Bye for now.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
done. Can you see what the Lord has done? What we waited for has come to pass. See what the Lord has done. On your wedding day, you're gonna sing that. Can you see what the Lord has done? When you walk into that property, can you see what the Lord has? When that healing happens, what we've been praying for, He has brought to pass. See what the Lord has done.